Rotisserie chicken to me is an American classic. If you go into any supermarket in America, you're bound to find a bunch of cooked rotisserie chickens, and I think there's a good reason for that. They are just absolutely delicious when cooked right. They are super juicy, fall apart tender, and the best thing about the rotisserie chicken is that skin gets nice and rendered. Now, if you tried to cook a whole chicken on any sort of a smoker, you will probably know it's pretty difficult to get that skin nice and rendered or crispy, whatever you're looking for. Because on a rotisserie chicken, the skin really isn't crispy, but it is perfectly rendered and it is bite through. So today I'm going to be doing a rotisserie chicken, and I'm going to be using my Monument Grill's 4-burner propane grill because it came with a rotisserie kit that is perfect for cooking chicken. But enough talking about this thing. I'm excited to get it cooked, so let's get right to it. Here is our chicken. Now we're going to have to do a few things to this to get it prepped before we get it out on the grill, not too much. First I went ahead, rinsed this whole chicken. I patted it dry best I could. Now the first thing I want to do, cut these wing tips off because they're just going to get burnt up anyway. They're pretty easy to cut through. Just get right at that joint and just push down pretty hard. It'll come right off. Save that for your soup stock. Now always around this neck area, check for excess fat and skin like we have here. Just go ahead and trim that right off. This side looks fine. Then you're going to want to do the same thing to the bottom side, and there's usually a lot more extra skin and fat here. Go ahead, just trim that right off. Now get a little bit of olive oil, drizzle that on top of here, and just kind of work that in because it'll start to get a little tacky. Make sure to get it all over the wings and everything. Then we'll go ahead and flip it over. Same thing, a little olive oil. Now if you're doing smoked chicken, you wouldn't want to use olive oil or any sort of binder. You'd want this skin as dry as possible to try and get it rendered and crispy. Since we're using a propane grill on a rotisserie, that's not going to matter. We're going to be able to render the skin down beautifully because of the high heat we're going to have on that propane grill. That looks pretty good like that. Now for seasoning, I'm using this lemon pepper seasoning. I picked this up at a Christmas tree shops for $1. So if you have a Christmas tree shops around you, check out their seasonings. They're super cheap, and this lemon pepper seasoning is absolutely amazing just as is. So I'm gonna go ahead, get some of this seasoning on this chicken, and we can go pretty liberal with this. There's a whole chicken here. Get under all the arms. We'll flip it over. Get this top side. Don't worry about getting it completely covered, because once we get it out on the grill, you'll just want to put some more seasoning on it out there. Sometimes here I like to pull the skin back, get some extra seasoning under there. It's not going to hurt. And then always add some seasoning inside that cavity there. That should be pretty good for now. And again, this is going to be seasoned once it's out on the grill, so I'm not too concerned right now. Just want to get a little base layer going here. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is get some butcher's string and tie up these wings. Pretty simple. Wrap them up, and then to tie this string, what I like to do is cross it like so, then go underneath twice, then go ahead, pull it tight, and it'll stay tight so you can tie another knot. Boom, easy. And then just cut the excess. That is the simplest way to tie that butcher string. Then what I like to do is tie up these legs. Best way to do that for me, get it underneath here. Then I bring the string up, wrap it around that leg, and do the same thing with the other leg. And then we'll just do the same thing. Get it tied up nice and tight. Cut the excess. Boom, there we go. Beautifully tied up chicken, ready for the rotisserie. So here we have the spit rod for the Monument Grill's rotisserie. If you have a Monument Grill's rotisserie kit and you have not used it yet, you're gonna have this collar here on the end. And if you haven't set it up yet, you're gonna wanna leave this loose. This fits into a channel in the grill, and you're gonna have to figure out exactly where it's located. And once you set it up, you can leave this piece on. It'll be in the same location every time. So go ahead and get one of your forks, slide that on the spit first. Then we can put this spit right through our chicken, try and get it centered, and then we'll run this first fork into our chicken. Just like so. See there? That's how we have it. And you can run this down finger loose, so get it tight, then back it off a little bit, because we're gonna wanna move this chicken once we get it on the grill. Then we get our second set of forks. Get this situated on the front of the chicken, like that. And again, just finger tight for now. So we'll have to move this. Now once you get it on the spit, go ahead, grab it, give it a spin, see if you got any heavy spots. You want to make sure it's kind of even all the way around. This feels all right. Might need to move just a little bit. That feels pretty solid to me. You want it to just easily spin around, and I think we are pretty good like that. And as you can see, we did lose a lot of that seasoning getting this on the spit. Not a big deal because we will add more of that seasoning when we're out on the grill. Speaking of that, the grill should be up to temp, so let's get right out and we'll get this chicken on. All right, the grill is up to temp. What I did here was I've got the far left burner on high and the far right burner on high, and we got the grill around 350 degrees. That's the temperature you're going to want for the rotisserie chicken, and depending on your ambient air temperature, you may have to turn down these burners. But for me, having them all the way on high, I'm getting about 350 on this, and that's exactly what you want. So here we got the rotisserie motor all ready to go. So let's grab this chicken, get that in our motor, and then over here at that collar, you can see it fits right in the groove on the grill, so you might have to adjust that. And as well, you're going to want to make sure that the chicken is centered in the grill between the two burners. And we do look pretty good. You can see it's a little further to this right side, which is fine because we have our leg quarters on that side and they can take a little more heat, so I'm fine with that. So now all you want to do is go ahead, tighten these down. The heat really tends to loosen things up, so get them nice and snug. Then turn our motor on. Now while we're checking this thing as it's spinning, I like to go ahead and just add some more of that seasoning on, just because we lost a good amount of it getting it on this spit here. So get a good amount of that seasoning on. Don't be shy. Definitely want all that good flavor. That looks pretty good. So it's spinning good. It's all seasoned up. Let's get this closed up and we'll let it cook. Now for a chicken this size, we're looking at about 1 hour of cook time on this. Depending on what size chicken you have, it'll be anywhere between an hour and an hour and a half. Rotisserie chickens cook pretty quick. It's really nice because it's kind of a set it and forget it kind of deal. Now it does take a little setup. You got to get it on the spit and everything, but once you get it out on the grill, it's super easy. Just let it go and you're left with perfectly cooked chicken in the end. But I figured this would be a good time to let you guys know that I have started a Patreon channel to help support this channel. Now if you're interested in that, please check out the link down below. I'm going to be putting all my seasoning and sauce recipes that I do in the videos on that Patreon page for everyone to check out. I'll also be posting other side dish recipes and stuff like that, as well as some bonus behind the scenes content, upcoming videos. And if you're enjoying this video, make sure to give it a like, and if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to subscribe. But enough of that, let's get out, see how this chicken's coming along. All right, it's been 1 hour on the rotisserie chicken. Look at the beautiful skin. This thing looks amazing. You can see the skin's not too charred yet, but it's got a nice golden color on there. Let's just give it a spin. Just check this thing out. Looks beautiful. And I think it is ready to be pulled off. Check that out. Skin's getting nice and gold right there. This is looking good. So let's stop it right there. Let's get a check on the chicken breast. We're at 164, perfect. Now let's see if I can get a temp on the thigh here. I'm gonna try to avoid the bones. So for the leg quarters, we're at 169, 170-ish. That's perfect. I usually like to see 160, 165 in the breasts, and anywhere between 170 to 180 in the thighs. But this thing looks amazing. I'm gonna go ahead, pull it off, and then we'll get it cut up. All right, here is our beautiful chicken. I took this off the grill. I got it covered up with some aluminum foil, let it rest for about 15-20 minutes. So let's go ahead, get this sliced up so I can give it a try. All right, so the first thing you want to do is get rid of that butcher string. Already got that off. Now, the first thing I like to usually do with the whole chicken is get rid of this leg quarter. So if you just come right in here next to the drumstick, it's just skin, just cut that down and turn it to the side and just work around that chicken thigh here. Cut along the spine. Feel for that joint in there. And once you cut through, all you should really have to do now is just pop it out of that joint and it comes right off. And there's a beautiful chicken leg quarter. Super easy because of how tender this chicken is. So we'll just repeat that process on the other side here, just like that. Then just grab it. Comes right off, super tender, absolutely juicy. Now let's go to these chicken wings, very similar to the thigh. I like to go under the armpit there and then just cut around that joint where the drumstick meets the chicken breast. Then again, just pull that right off. Nice and tender. All right, now let's deal with these chicken breasts. And a lot of times I'm sure you'll see people just go in, carve slices off like that. You really don't want to do that because you're cutting with the grain doing that. You want to cut against the grain of the chicken breast. It's not that big a deal because it is a chicken breast and it's super tender, but I always like to go against the grain when I can. So come right down the middle of the spine and then just feel for the inside of that breastbone and take the tip of your knife and kind of just follow along that breastbone. Now once you hit that rib cage, tilt your knife and come out at an angle. It's not a big deal if you leave some meat on the bones because you can pick it off after very easily. Just work the knife and there you go. Boneless rotisserie chicken breast. Nice and tender, super juicy. Look at this, skin is perfectly rendered. This is gonna be so good. Let's go ahead and get this other chicken breast off. Same as the first. Run along that breastbone, get down to your rib cage. Then once you hit those ribs, start turning the knife out. And since this is so tender, it kind of just falls right apart anyway. There you go, another beautiful chicken breast. Now you're left with this carcass, and you can see there's still a ton of good meat on here. So go ahead, pick all that off. Plenty of good stuff, and make sure to get the meat off of the back here. This is some of the best meat along the spine here. All this is absolutely super juicy and delicious. So make sure you go in there and get all this meat. You can see these huge chunks. You do not want to let this stuff go to waste. This is my favorite pieces from the whole chicken. So just go ahead, peel that all off, and then you can use the carcass for your chicken stock if you want. But that is that. See, we got our 2 breasts, 2 leg quarters, and then our 2 chicken wings as well. And a pile of that delicious spine meat there, and our carcass. Let me just grab one of these chicken breasts. I'm gonna cut some slices off. I'm gonna be giving this a try. Perfect, check that out. See the skin, look at that. Just falls apart, not chewy at all. It's exactly what you want from chicken skin. All right, so you can see why I absolutely love rotisserie chicken. This stuff is absolutely fantastic. Super juicy, nice and tender. I love cooking one of these and then having the meat left over for the next few days. You have so many options with it. You could do barbecue pulled chicken sandwiches. You could turn it into chicken salad and use this meat in a chicken soup. The options are really endless with a rotisserie chicken, but let me see how this came out. So good, absolutely fantastic. That lemon pepper seasoning is so tasty. Not very lemony or peppery. You can taste the flavors of the lemon and pepper, but it's not overpowering at all. If you guys can get your hands on some of that lemon pepper seasoning, highly suggest it, especially if you can get it at Christmas tree shops. Only $1, come on. Can't really beat that. Now the skin on this thing is perfectly rendered. You don't even notice it at all. You just get all that fantastic flavor from it. If you have a rotisserie, definitely give this a try, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. And like I said before, I got the link to my Patreon down below. Be sure to check that out. I'm gonna put a link to all the stuff I like to use down there as well. Now, if you're interested in a Monument Grill, I'll also put a link down below for that. And I will give you a coupon code for 5% off your order at Monument Grills. Just use the code SMOKESTACK and you will get 5% off your order. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm going to be having a bunch of good videos coming out. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. You can do that right over here. And be sure to check out one of my other barbecue videos like this one right over here. But most importantly, guys, get out there and smoke something good.